Phil Parkinson didn't just sign a goal scorer, he signed a man with a massive point to prove. And the gaffer has finally admitted exactly what tipped the scales to bring this familiar face back to North Wales. It's not just about the 19 goals last season or the 13 he's already bagged this term. It is about a specific psychological trait that Parkinson identified, something that separates the mercenaries from the true Red Dragons. We are looking at a player who walked away from the racecourse during the darkest days of the pandemic, only to claw his way back to the championship through sheer grit. Parkinson has revealed the real reason Davis Keillor-Dunn is back, and it changes how we view this transfer entirely.
Let's be absolutely clear about the context here, because it is vital to understanding Parkinson's logic. This isn't a stranger walking into the dressing room. Davis Keillor-Dunn has worn the shirt before, but under circumstances that feel like a fever dream compared to where the club stands today. We are talking about January 2020. Think back to that period. He signed a short-term deal after leaving Ross County. He managed 6 appearances, he scored 1 goal, and then the world stopped. The coronavirus crisis brought the National League season to a screeching, abrupt halt. It was a time of massive uncertainty, and Keillor-Dunn moved on. For many, that would be a footnote in history, a what-if moment. But looking at it now, through the lens of what Parkinson has just revealed, that departure was the catalyst for everything that followed. He didn't just leave and fade away, he went out and built a career that demanded attention. Parkinson admits he's been watching him over the years. That is a crucial detail. The gaffer didn't just look at a spreadsheet from this season. He has been tracking this lad's evolution since he left the building. The narrative arc here is incredible. He leaves Wrexham when we are stuck in the non-league mire, and he returns when we are fighting in the championship. That gap in time, those years away, served as a forge. He went to Oldham Athletic, he went to Burton Albion, he went to Mansfield Town, he ground it out. Parkinson explicitly mentioned that he continues to develop as a player. That is the key. He didn't peak in 2020. He used every single setback and every single transfer as a stepping stone to get better, sharper and more lethal. Returning to the racecourse now on a contract that runs until the end of the 2028-29 season is a statement. It's not a stopgap solution. It's a long-term commitment to a player who Parkinson believes is finally ready to explode at this level. The fact that the fee is undisclosed tells you the club values him highly, but the fact that he was willing to come back to a place where he had unfinished business speaks volumes about his mentality. He isn't coming here to retire, he's coming here to set a score with fate.
We cannot ignore the raw data, because Phil Parkinson certainly didn't. When you strip away the sentiment and the narrative, you are left with a striker who knows exactly where the back of the net is. The statistics from his time at Barnsley are, quite frankly, frighteningly consistent. We are talking about a player who scored 19 goals in his first season with the Tykes. 19! In a league as competitive as League One, that is gold dust. But he didn't stop there. This season, before putting pen to paper for Wrexham, he had already netted 13 times in 24 League One matches. Do the maths. That is a goal roughly every 2 games. For a player operating in the high-pressure environment of a promotion chase or a playoff push, that level of consistency is rare. Parkinson highlighted this specifically, noting that he has done really well over the last few years. It's not a purple patch, it's a baseline of performance. Parkinson's analysis of how he scores is even more telling. The gaffer pointed out that Keillor-Dunn has been played as a number 9 this season. This is a tactical shift from how some might remember him as a wider player or an attacking midfielder. He has evolved into a central threat. Parkinson noted, he gets his shots away from the edge of the box, but he also follows things in. This duality is what makes him dangerous. He isn't a one-trick pony. If you give him space on the edge of the 18-yard box, he has the technical quality to punish you. We've seen it. But Parkinson also loves the fact that he follows things in. That is the Bertie work. That is the striker's instinct, gambling on a spill from the keeper, anticipating a deflection, being alive when everyone else is sleeping. Parkinson said he's always in and around that 6-yard box, and that's where he gets goals as well. That balance between the spectacular strike and the ugly tap-in is exactly what Wrexham needs to turn draws into wins in the Championship.
Now we get to the core of the matter. The headline, the real reason Parkinson pulled the trigger on this deal. It wasn't just the goals. You can buy goals if you have enough money. What you cannot buy is hunger. Parkinson used that word multiple times. He said, "I think it's more the hunger and desire which resonated with me." That is the sentence that matters more than any other. In the Championship, you come up against teams with massive budgets, parachute payments, and squads full of Premier League veterans. Wrexham cannot always compete on pure pedigree alone. We compete on intensity, on work rate, on desire. We compete with the spirit of the Red Dragons. Parkinson saw in Keillor-Dunn a player who is desperate to prove himself. The gaffer explicitly stated he's got real hunger to prove himself at this level. This is the first time Keillor-Dunn will be making the step up to the Championship in his career. For some managers, that lack of experience is a red flag. For Parkinson, it's a weapon. He wants players who treat every match at this level as a privilege they have fought for, not a chore they are entitled to. A player who has spent years in League One and League Two looking up at the Championship is going to run harder, fight longer and tackle fiercer than a player who is dropping down from the Premier League looking for a paycheck. "I like his story," Parkinson said, "the way he's had to fight to prove himself in his career. This aligns perfectly with the DNA of Wrexham under the Hollywood owners. The whole club is a story of fighting back, of rising from the ashes, of proving the doubters wrong. Keillor-Dunn is the embodiment of that ethos on the pitch. Parkinson is betting that this hunger will translate into performances that transcend his previous statistics. He is banking on the fact that Keillor-Dunn has a chip on his shoulder the size of the racecourse itself."
We need to dig deeper into the tactical nuances Parkinson revealed. He mentioned watching Keillor-Dunn play as a number 9 this season. This is significant because it suggests Parkinson sees him as a focal point, not just a supporting act. In the Wrexham system, the strikers are the first line of defence and the tip of the spear. They need to press, they need to hold up play, and they need to be clinical. Parkinson praised his moments of real quality. This suggests we aren't just getting a workhorse, we are getting a player with technical finesse. But the gaffer also noted that he gets all types of goals. This versatility is crucial for the run-in. In the Championship, defences are smarter, they adapt. If you only score one way, you get shut down. Keillor-Dunn's ability to score from range forces defenders to step out, which leaves space in behind. His ability to poach in the 6-yard box means defenders can't switch off for a second. This signing gives Parkinson options. It allows for rotation, sure, but it also allows for different tactical setups. If Wrexham needs to chase a game, Keillor-Dunn's ability to shoot from distance is a massive asset against a low block. If Wrexham is under pressure and playing on the counter, his instinct to follow shots in means he can capitalise on the chaos. The fact that Parkinson mentioned he knows a few of the boys already is another tactical advantage, albeit a social one. Chemistry on the pitch starts in the dressing room. He isn't walking into a room of strangers. That integration period should be minimal. We need him firing immediately. There is no time for a bedding in period when you are chasing glory. Parkinson knows this, and that existing connection likely played a part in the decision-making process.
Let's be honest and analytical here. There is always a risk when a player steps up a division. Parkinson acknowledged this directly. He's got real hunger to prove himself at this level. We look forward to giving him that opportunity. The key word there is opportunity. It's not a guarantee of success. The Championship is faster, more physical and more punishing than League One. Keillor-Dunn is 28 years old. This is his prime. If he's ever going to make the jump, it is now. Parkinson is gambling that his desire will bridge the gap in quality. We have seen players make this jump and struggle. We have seen players make this jump and fly. The difference is almost always mentality. That is why Parkinson kept coming back to the word hunger. If Keillor-Dunn came in thinking he had made it, he would fail. But Parkinson is convinced he is coming in thinking he has everything to lose if he doesn't perform. That edge is what makes this signing so intriguing. It's a calculated risk by the gaffer. He is backing his judgment of the player's character over the safety of signing a proven Championship journeyman. And let's look at the contract length again. End of the 2028-29 season. That is a massive show of faith. You don't give a 4.5-year deal to a player you think might struggle. You give that to a player you think is going to be a cornerstone of the team. Parkinson believes Keillor-Dunn isn't just ready for the Championship, he believes he can thrive in it for years to come. Why leave Barnsley? He was scoring goals. He was a key man. He had 13 goals in 24 games. He was flying. Why move to Wrexham? Obviously the project is huge, but Parkinson's comments suggest that Keillor-Dunn wanted this specific challenge. Barnsley is a big club, but Wrexham is a phenomenon. The fact that Barnsley let him go for an undisclosed fee suggests Wrexham put serious money on the table, or Barnsley realised they couldn't stand in the way of the player's desire. Parkinson mentioned his successful spells at Oldham, Button and Mansfield before Barnsley. He has been a nomad, moving upwards, always performing. This move feels like the destination he has been working towards. Leaving a club where you are the top dog to come to Wrexham where competition is fierce shows confidence. He isn't afraid of the challenge. Parkinson said, "One thing we know is he's going to give us everything." That assurance is vital. You don't leave a comfort zone where you are scoring for fun unless you are driven by something bigger. For Parkinson, extracting a player of this quality from a League One rival in January is a masterstroke. It weakens a potential future opponent, if we were in the same league, and strengthens us. But more importantly, it brings a player who is in match rhythm. He isn't coming off the bench, he's been starting and scoring all season. He is ready to go from minute one. We cannot ignore the final note of the report. Parkinson didn't just stop at Keillor-Dunn, he added Bailey Cadamarteri from Sheffield Wednesday. This context is essential. It shows that Keillor-Dunn isn't being asked to save the season alone. He's part of a broader attacking revamp. Cadamarteri is a different profile, younger, coming from a Championship rival. Together, they represent Parkinson addressing the need for depth and quality in the final third. But Keillor-Dunn is the senior figure in this double swoop. He's the one with the immediate track record of goals this season. Parkinson is building a unit. He wants competition. He wants his strikers looking over their shoulders, knowing that if they don't run, they don't play. By bringing in Keillor-Dunn alongside Cadamarteri, he's raised the bar for everyone in that forward line. It sends a message to the existing squad. We are not settling. We are pushing for more. The crucial run-in was mentioned. Parkinson knows that legs get tired, injuries happen, and form dips. Having a player like Keillor-Dunn, who can play as a 9 or deeper, gives him the flexibility to rotate without losing goal threat. It's smart squad management, driven by the ambition to get out of this league.
So what is the bottom line here? Phil Parkinson assigned Davis Keillor-Dunn not because he is a romantic who loves a reunion, but because he's a pragmatist who loves winners. He saw a player with a history of grinding, a present filled with goals, and a future fueled by a desperate need to prove he belongs at the top level. I'm pleased we've got him, Parkinson concluded. It was a simple statement, but you can feel the satisfaction. He has got his man. He has added 19 goals from last season and 13 from this season to his arsenal. He has added a player who can score from the edge of the box and the 6-yard box. But most importantly, he has added a fighter. The hunger and desire resonated with the manager because it mirrors the manager's own approach. This is Wrexham. We don't do things the easy way. We fight for every inch. Davis Keillor-Dunn has spent his career fighting for this opportunity. Now he has it. The racecourse is waiting. And if Parkinson is right, we are about to see a player who will run through brick walls to keep this dream alive. The real reason is simple. He is one of us.